Hello, everyone. We are officially in the throes of summer, and depending where you are in the country, that could be a great thing or you could be completely miserable. But I will tell you what will lift your spirits no matter where you are, and it's being here with us for this DealerOn webinar. AI's been a hot topic, pun absolutely intended. My co-presenter and I decided that maybe we take a little break from it for this session, but don't worry, we are still grilling up some good stuff for you coming soon. So, if you want to talk robots, we're still absolutely in that mix, but today's a little break, a little summer break from that. I haven't even introduced myself. It's because you all feel like friends to me. But for those of you who are first timers on one of our webinars, my name is Erin Zabarak. I'm your host today and the Director of Marketing for DealerOn. I'm joined today by one of my favorites, Christina Quado, our VP of Product Development. Thank you for being here, Tina.
Thank you so much. Hello.
Usually, you and your team are busy building all the cool tools and bells and whistles for us, so I am very excited to take up some of your time today.
Happy to be here.
Okay, let's see. I still see people joining, so let's go through a few notes and questions I know I'm going to get throughout the session. I promise I will answer them again no matter what. Yes, we are recording the training today, and we will send you both the deck and the recording later after the webinar. You should all see a Q&A section in your Zoom toolbar. If you don't see it, click more, and it's there, I promise. Ask all the questions. Give us all your comments. Give us all your notes and feedbacks and things that work for you. I'm going to be hanging out there. We're going to bring things up live as you type them in, and you all constantly bring the great comments and questions. So keep me busy. Although I do know it's summer, I know we have chill vibes right now. So if it's quiet, I'm not going to be mad. In fact, you know what? I'm going to try and get everyone a little time back here and end a few minutes early. So, yeah, let's get right to it. Uh, you
Great.
know, I have to admit something before you start. I'm chronically online. You know this about me. I'm attached to a screen almost every moment. My eyes are open. And no, I promise that is not a brag. It is a sad, sad truth. But my bad habits are everyone else's good fortune because it's that non-auto view of how information served up online that has helped inform the topic of this webinar. So, in addition to scrolling TikTok, playing games on my iPad, another guilty pleasure, which starts tonight, actually, it's a TV show called Big Brother. And it's that idea of Big Brother, someone always watching. That's the internet in 2026. And I have to say, I don't hate it.
I don't
Personalized,
either.
yeah, I love a personalized experience. It shapes how I interact with sites and with brands. It's something I not only enjoy, but I expect it. So, Tina, I know you have more of a social life than I do. But you spend a
Barely.
lot of time online. So, how do you feel about all this?
I do. Barely more of a social life than you, hate to admit. But yeah, I really enjoy getting personalized content, right? It's showing me things that I might not have found myself, brands I might not have found myself, items that I might not have found either. And so it's something that, as Aaron said, we expect in our day to day, whether we're scrolling Instagram, whether we're shopping on Amazon for our next purchase, whether we're shopping for clothes or shoes or whatever, your guilty pleasure is. It's an expectation and it helps drive consumer patterns and behaviors and how we engage with that site, whether we are on our mobile phone, scrolling on our couch, or whether we're shopping, from our desktop as well. So, I think some of the things, and we're taking kind of a macro level right now, and we'll zoom it down into auto later in the presentation. But some of these things, like we've been mentioning, to have a customer-centric design focus for your website platform for both mobile and desktop. And some of those key things, like we said, personalization, having an intuitive navigation, having a personalized navigation as well. Aaron will get into a little bit of that, a seamless way to complete your purchase or go through a checkout process. Having a really good customer service, whether that's from a chat or searching tool on the website to actual live customer support, and something that's very consumer and technically friendly. And some of these things do really apply down into your dealership websites.
And it's remembering, and I know you're going to talk about it here. We visit websites all day long. We look at dealer websites. I know where to click. I know what to expect. I assume this is going to show here. Customers are not on dealer websites every day, but they are on websites every day. So their expectations are important. And not all customers are expecting that same thing, right? When they're on your website.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Just understanding how to navigate different websites, that's something that people are used to, but they might just come to your website every 3 to 4 years as they're starting the shopping process.
I hope so. I hope 3 to 4 years they're starting
Sure.
their shopping. But I also hope they come to my website when they need service as a
Absolutely.
dealership. So it's giving those customers the different experiences. And that's what we're going to talk all about today.
Awesome. So let's just talk a little bit about consumers. No two consumers are the same, right? So in this example here, we've got John and Nicole, and they're coming onto your website. And right, John and Nicole are coming in for different reasons, but when they land on your search results page, or they land on a specific VDP, maybe from an advertisement, or they just organically get there and land onto your homepage, they're seeing the exact same experience. They're seeing the same inventory, the same offers. But John's looking to return his leased vehicle, and Nicole has an eligible trade-in, and maybe she's also looking to get service done too. But their experience is exactly the same, and that's something that we really want to try to avoid, right? Because John and Nicole are two different people coming in for different reasons. So how can we personalize their experience the minute that they come onto your website so they can find exactly what they need in a frictionless process?
Absolutely. And there's a few different sections we're going to talk about today when it comes to automotive personalization. So I think we can switch to the next slide. And without getting to, we're going to go into all four of these, but it comes to identifying what those customers are, what they've experienced, and what they're looking for to serve them up the right content. And when it comes to that content, not only is it information, not only is it offers and specials, but it's the right vehicles and the information to help support them as they navigate your site. I think I'd be remiss if I didn't say, we're hearing as an industry that leads are a little bit down right now. It's summer, everybody's on that vibe maybe, but what isn't down is clicks and engagement and hopefully walk-in traffic to your dealership. So that's the point in all of this is recommending the right information to that right audience is not only going to help increase leads, but the name of our webinar, clicks to connections. It's making people more engaged with your dealership to ultimately purchase. We're going to talk customizable navigation and then you're fine. And then we're going to talk pricing and all this stuff. So let's start though with vehicle content recommendations. Give me what I want, show me what I need, even if I don't know I need it. I think I gave you an image from my own Amazon search.
You sure
Yep.
did.
Yeah, I did. I put myself on blast. I have three children, 14-year-old and my twins turned 10 yesterday. So that's what you're getting a view of. Please tell me what I need. The number of items I have purchased because it told me here's where you left off, or here's items that you might like, or here's items related to what you were thinking. This is no longer optional. This is an expectation. So it's important to understand how your shoppers are navigating your site already, and then make sure to give them the information. And it results in more engagement when you do offer that personalized content. I know some of these stats we've talked about, Tina, 154% more time on site. And again, it's more than leads, more time on site. Nobody's hanging out on your website unless they want to continue working with you to buy a car. So these are fantastic indicators. We see that engagement and then definitely conversion boost, of course, which is the goal. I wish everybody was filling out a lead, but it's that conversions, it's click to call, it's all of those KPIs that we're tracking.
Yeah,
I didn't
you're
make you
keeping them.
share. I didn't make you
Yeah,
share
you're
your
keeping them on
Amazon.
your site because they are interested in that content. And that's kind of why we're seeing that jump in time on site and even engagement as well.
Absolutely. I should have made you do a home screen. You would have had such cool, just look at all
It's
this
going to be all
aesthetic.
gardening things.
See, you have better hobbies than I do. Okay, so but let's talk vehicle recommendations because, it's one thing to recommend me some mini muffins because I bought fruit snacks or something, but we're talking cars. That's a little
Yes.
bit different.
Let's get into the auto piece of this. So, look, I think when people think a personalized experience, especially on your dealership website, you always go to vehicle recommendations, and so that's where we're starting. But I think it's going to be really cool to see where we end up and kind of twist and see other ways that you can personalize that experience. But this kind of, to us is that no-brainer, right? Show me vehicles that I am interested in based on my search behavior, whether I came onto your site last week, whether I've been on your site every single day over the past 2 weeks, and how are my shopping patterns, the vehicles that I've clicked on to, view a VDP, the filters that I've engaged with, like pricing, right? I've narrowed down my pricing range. I've narrowed down by color. I've, started with looking at SUVs, right? Start recommending me vehicles because maybe there's that specific VIN on your lot that I haven't come across because it's, on page 2, 3, 4 of your content and surface that up for me, really call it out. And so, I really love the examples here that we're showing and how we cleanly and kind of do this on the SRPs and recommend that this vehicle is for you, right? It is based on the interactions that you've made across the website.
Yeah, I think it's a clean, to your point, call it out, but not obnoxiously. We have here in the filters too, allow, oh, you've got even more for me? Absolutely, I'll click it. Like I can hear myself going through this. And how the recommendations are made, technically speaking, I know you've got a few body type, color. There's a lot of indicators, and we are taking, if your shopper clicks on this and does this, okay, that's going to inform things, right? That's how the nerds build the nerd tools, right?
Yeah, our logic that we've built in the back end to kind of support this personalized experience for vehicle recommendations is to look, whether that shopper is shopping for new vehicles or used vehicles and weighting kind of different signals, if you will. If they're looking at used vehicles, weighting, their mileage filters or the vehicles that they've engaged with and looking at that specific mileage a little bit higher than maybe we would on the body type or on the color itself, right? Because mileage for a used vehicle is a higher indicator for us. So just as an example, but that's we're looking at pricing, of course. We're looking at different filters such as your body type, your coloring, your engine, your drivetrain, things like that, and kind of putting them in a ranked order to build out that personalized vehicle profile for your shoppers.
All right. Definitely one to talk to your customer success manager about for sure. And then once they click into a vehicle and they're on the VDP, and I think again, back to Amazon, once I'm on that details page, I still want to see more things that I might like, just in case this wasn't the exact one. So similar vehicles is something don't sleep on. Don't forget this.
Yeah, it's a very similar logic that we have on our vehicle details page, and I think bringing it back to the Amazon example, or even if you're on Netflix, right? Because you've watched something, here are the recommendations based on what you've just watched, or based on what you're looking at right now. So when you've zoomed into that detailed, specific item, just like we're doing here with a specific vehicle, we're showing you based on the price, the mileage, the color, body type, all the things that we just spoke about, what are similar vehicles, and directly being able to access some of those from the vehicle details pages.
Right. And this is not an area where you need four CTAs. There's very few places you need four CTAs, but that's a whole other webinar. So, what are we trying to do? We're trying to get the shopper to keep clicking, to dive deeper into your website. If they weren't sure what vehicle they're on, Civics as a whole, we want them to drill down until they choose the right exact Civic. So, make sure, don't worry about having all the buttons. You don't need all the details necessarily, just enough to wet their whistle so that they click in and find it. But
Yeah,
let's
just
scooch.
entice them.
Yeah, exactly. Let's scooch back out to the SRP because there's more to care about. And we love inline because that's where people are scrolling and browsing, and that's a fantastic place to deliver personalized messaging.
Yeah, it is. It's a great call out, right? Especially on mobile as you're scrolling through different vehicles and bam, you get hit with a personalized offer, a personalized message, right? It kind of breaks up that experience and it's more of a call out and an attention grabber. So I think this is a great location, our kind of inline advertising or inline banners to use to be able to personalize that message. If we know that a customer is coming onto the site that is looking to return their lease, or we know that they, based on their shopping patterns, are very interested in Civics, right? Promote a current offer that you might have at your dealership on those Civics, entice them to drill down to find out more.
Absolutely. And it's another way, I guess I am going to talk about CTAs, sorry. It's another way to take some of those value my trade, see, get approved, those buttons that you're going to see over and over again that as the dealer, you don't necessarily care what car they choose if they care about their trade-in or financing, but we still want to offer this up. So it's a way to declutter some of your SRP and put this messaging here. But that warranty information example on the left, that's key information that somebody might not know they need, but you know they need it. So personalizing content, there's so much you could do here. Model specific messaging, lease payment information. We've seen dealers do some very savvy stuff here on their SRPs. And these are just a few examples. There's other places that the personalized banners can show up. Top of the page, of course, but inline to me is the most prominent and it's where we see the most engagement, I think, too.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So all of this is kind of a part we've, danced around it a little bit. This is DealerOn signals. So our personalization tool allows us to target all the shoppers that we're talking about when we have that data and information, and we get the data and info from a lot of different sources, right? I'll let you talk a little bit about, you guys built signals. I should be quiet.
Yeah, so first and foremost, we're looking at on-site signals. So the clicks that shoppers are making across all the pages on the site, how often they're making those clicks to. And your site is tagged with Google Analytics. And so we're using that information and data to build out personalized profiles for those shoppers, and can also understand when that shopper comes back and can build upon that profile. And so that's how we're able to do a lot of our vehicle recommendations and the personalized messaging within these banners across the website. The other area, because sure, on-site signals are really important, but it's also really interesting to know, if we can, what that shopper might be doing off-site or how they got onto the site. And so one of the ways in which we do this is through UTM parameters. So it's kind of a code that is attached to the end of a URL or within a URL structure. And you can see this on your digital advertising links, within your email links that you embed within those CTAs in your email marketing. And so picking up that signal as the shopper comes onto the site, we already know something about them and can then continue to personalize that experience based on, some of the other configurations that we do within our signals platform. But kind of two of the main ways, off-platform and on-platform signals and attribution.
Absolutely. We also have CDP integration, but again, that's a whole other webinar. So lots of ways. And here, I think on the next slide, just a few other examples to get your brains working on what kind of personalization campaigns you can and should run. We've talked fixed ops. I try to talk fixed ops every time. We absolutely can serve up service messaging, lots of different information. And again, it's based on what we know about your shopper. Let's give them the right message to continue improving that engagement. So lots of vehicle, lots of content recommendations. You talked a little bit about UTM. We're going to keep talking about that because using audience data, both on-site, and I'm so glad you brought up off-site already, to deliver that targeted information, that's where we see the big increase. And I like to say, keep that promise you make with the click. In fact, I might have actually put it on one of these slides. If you have an ad, if you have an email, something that you're sending, a Facebook ad in this example, where you're talking price, you're talking payment, you're talking specific information, when you drive that customer to your website and they click and they're so interested and now they want to see more, and now you're showing them absolutely none of that information ever again, you're taking them back a step. So make sure that your digital advertising agencies, all of your partners are using UTM. The UTM parameters are not, this is something totally underutilized, in my opinion. Use this to track that traffic, make sure that it matches the message. So that example on the right is how you can set up these audiences. So if it's somebody who clicked on this ad with this information, this is what we want them to see, right? And it doesn't have to be exactly the same. You can zhuzh it a little depending on what the message was. If your email campaign is another fantastic place if your BDC is sending out regular emails, if you've got automated follow-up for an internet lead, if they do click in there, let's make sure that we're serving the right information up. Anything I missed on this, Tina?
Yeah, I would just say UTM parameters are universal. This isn't a dealer on specific
Absolutely.
thing, right? So any of your advertising agencies that you're working with or marketing agencies that you're working with, if it's not dealer on, right, this is something that they should be able to offer the ability for you to do. And it's a great connection. And really what it comes down to is having that consistent messaging, that consistent offer and reinforcement, right? I see, as Aaron said, I see it in one place, and that drove me to your website. And now I'm not seeing anything about it at all. And that kind of goes back to, where we started to, different shoppers coming onto your site for different reasons and seeing the exact same offers, exact same messaging, right? Utilizing this personalization engine and the ability to connect with, specific and unique UTM parameters allows every customer essentially to come and see a more personalized message from where they started off your website.
Absolutely. Something else that we've talked about, and I think back, oh my gosh, I think back years and years to when it first became a thing, geofencing. This is some of that Big Brother stuff we were talking about is how do you know where I am? How do you know what I care about? This is another personalization tool that if you're not taking advantage of with your website, you absolutely should. So talk to us about what is geofencing? How does it work?
Yeah, so we're able to kind of pick up on location and IP addresses to change the offer that you might see within our mobile lead driver geofencing product. So I really love to use the example of you have someone around a military base or you have someone around a hospital and they are, first responders or, nurses or something like that, right? And there might be a specific offer for them. And they're crossing into that radius or that location, and if they have push notifications on and location sharing on, they will see this offer, right? And for most people, they do,
Right.
unless they, want to go off the grid. But this is a great, this is a great product that allows you to push specific content based on groups or based on, a group of people and personalize that offer for them based on, where they are in their location.
Almost every OEM that I ever know of has had military cash at some point. In summer, here's college grad cash, that bonus, something that is new and upcoming. This is a fantastic way to highlight that. Competing dealers is a great one.
I was gonna say conquesting is a big one up there too.
We all know, as much as we wish they weren't, your customers are shopping when they are in your showroom. So they're shopping when they are in your neighbor's showroom as well. And if they're shopping your website, we want to make sure that they get that right information. So geofencing, it's something you might not have considered for a long time. It's included in many of our website packages already. This might be a tool you already have and aren't taking advantage of. So reach out to your reps and see. Messaging, the pop-up messaging, exit messaging. This is another little creepy adjacent, I think I've said for quite some time. This is another thing where you might not have considered this, but it's another fantastic personalization tool.
Yeah. So what we're talking about here is our exit intent messaging, right? So if I am a shopper, whether I'm on desktop or mobile, and I'm starting to mouse or hover over to close out or to move away from the website page, I can be met with a pop-up. to show a specific offer. We do this a lot for vehicle offers. We do this a lot for service offers as well. If I'm on a service scheduling page and I actually then don't end up scheduling that service and I mouse over to close, we can show, a message before that user actually exits your page. Enticing them again to say, okay, one last offer, right, before you actually try to leave. And it's been a great engagement tool as well across our website.
I don't think I've ever heard that fixed op example before, and I love it. I'm obsessed with that. That exit message matching the page that they're on and what they're trying to accomplish, and what message do you want to deliver them? That's a great example. I'm very excited. So, fun fact, if you don't have this on for your fixed ops pages, you better get to it. Awesome. So everything we've covered so far, this is that big brother. This is the what do we know about you and what are we going to serve up based on what we know. Personalization for shoppers is a little bit more of that, and it includes allowing me to personalize my experience on your website. So we're going to step away from the tech and the the what do I know about you, and how can we make our websites more personalizable? That's a word for your shoppers. So this is the right content for our summer vibes of a little back to basics, a little let's check what we're doing, but it's giving customers options in the way that they view because they have different priorities. So one of the big things, if you haven't checked it recently, your sort options on your SRP. Number one, what are your defaults? How are your vehicles showing up for your new, if somebody clicks to new inventory or used, because you have different priorities, you as the dealer. Model switchover, you might want to show your oldest vehicles first, but allowing a customer to prominently see where they can change this because I change the filter on every site. Most sites, it's show me the least expensive to the most expensive. But every once in a while, if you're buying something where there's like 150, maybe I want to see the most expensive to the lowest. And especially with vehicles, think about somebody looking for an LTZ Tahoe, something that's totally maxed out. That's how they're going to change things. We have a few examples here highlighted. Featured vehicles, that's how you do it. We're not going to tell customers here's the oldest cars. Go look at these first because I need them off my lot. Featured vehicles, how do you display this information? So that's a fun way to do it. It's how you do it on our platform. But we talked earlier about the for you, the recommended vehicles. So allowing customers to sort this way as well. So homework for you, check your default views and then check this for your customer experience on your site. Check it on mobile, especially. But, Tina, I feel very strongly people should have choice on their website, right?
Yeah, and we give them choice too. So
We do. More choices, filters. So that's one sort option, but I love a filter. And making sure that your filters are in an order that makes sense to shoppers. We all know how VINs explode. We all know all the information. We know there's body type, there's transmission type, there's engine type. How many of things do customers necessarily care about? And what can we scoot down? And what should we scoot up? So organizing filters based on what your shoppers are asking most about, what they care about, that's giving them an easier way to personalize. Yes. Can they scroll down and still filter to those? Absolutely. But making sure we have things up above, that's the most important. Color we have called out. Color is one of those things that can often be below the fold on a mobile. You want to scoot that filter up because people care more about color probably for their vehicle than almost anything else. They know what color they want. They sure as heck know what color they don't want. So make sure it's easy. Make sure, especially on mobile, that my finger on my big phone where I'm using my thumb and I won't hit, make it easy for me. So all of this is important. And again, it's allowing that shopper to personalize their experience. What else on filters what do you scooch up or down?
yeah, I would say utilize your DealerOn customer success manager to pull the data, right? All of these again are tagged and you can see the most engaged with filters. And if you're finding that one of your top 5 engaged with filters is closer to the bottom, think about moving that up, right? I think that's going to be your best bet because we can generally give our thoughts around this, but there might be something unique to your market that that the data will tell you. So I would certainly encourage you to utilize your GA4 data to make some of these changes and decisions.
No, that's a great point. Because, I might bash on fuel type, I might bash on transmission type, but if you're a truck heavy, that stuff matters more than ever.
Yep.
So, and I used to sell Chevys in a farm town, so I remember the questions that I would get. Do I remember the answers? Absolutely not. But I know at one point in time in my life, I knew. Okay, what else? More ways for shoppers to personalize their experience. It's compare options. So I've got this example again. If I'm looking, I can't remember what I was shopping for here. If I am looking for three different things for something, I want to be able to compare a few different models. This is something I'm experienced with on non-auto. So if you look, and I think I put it, look at me as an animation on a slide. Who even am I? Here's an example on an automotive site. Yes, I still do want to compare the three. And so this is something that as dealers, as marketers, we aren't necessarily interacting with on our dealer websites, but customers love this, especially as they're starting off their search. Not only is it useful for shoppers in personalizing things, but it's a great tool for your internet managers, your BDCs, as they're sending lead responses. Hey, you asked about a Mazda, CX-5. Here's a few we have in stock. And it's making their life so much easier. Screenshots, link to your website. You better track those UTM parameters like we talked earlier. But comparing vehicles, again, is a way to let shoppers personalize their site. In addition to this, save a vehicle, save a vehicles, save all the vehicles. Listen, nobody's logging in to your dealer website. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to tell you. If you have a login and everything's dependent on that, it may not be using. Maybe it is, maybe regional, but across the board, we don't see login. So what we recommend is having a save a vehicle functionality that doesn't require a login, but allows me to mark some cars that I want to look at, but maybe I don't have time now, but I'm going to come back later and I want to be able to see it. So this is something we have, Tina, right? I don't mean to bash logins. God bless you if you like a login, but
It's just not something that, we feel strongly about putting on the site. We want to be able to give shoppers a frictionless experience. So, being able to save a vehicle without, having it behind a login is, what we've built out. And we are seeing high engagement with shoppers, saving those vehicles. And if they come back tomorrow in a week, and they can still see if those vehicles exist, if you haven't sold them, right, they can still see those and then compare,
yeah.
or, engage with them, to do some deeper research.
Absolutely. And again, these are things that you might have forgotten, things that are on your website, things that you should make sure are configured properly, all possible. So, the last group, and maybe the most important part about all this, is allowing customers to personalize their pricing and their payment. I don't think, and I haven't checked the data recently, but the majority of shoppers are not paying cash for vehicles. They are financing or leasing. If I am incorrect, please tell me in the Q&A. I am happy to be corrected. So allowing customers, again, to self-serve and to personalize their pricing is a really, really important part of website optimization. So a few different things to consider. We've already hit on it, Tina, is customers aren't just paying cash, so don't just show them the cash price.
Yeah. We have the ability to show finance and leasing prices and the ability to have the finance or the lease math stack be your default, but then also allowing the shopper to change what their default view is as they're shopping across your site. Maybe I'm a person that likes to finance, so I'm going to make sure that across all of the vehicles that I'm viewing on SRP and VDP, I see that finance tab no matter where and which vehicle I'm going into, because that finance price and that monthly term rate is something that's important to me as a shopper.
Yeah. And this is something, personalized. We're going back and forth. What can the shopper personalize? What can the dealer personalize? You can set default settings. So if you have not checked, and especially on used, I think it's most important. What's that default interest rate? What's the default time range? Make sure that it's displaying possibilities and your vehicle's in the best light possible for payment information. So lots to configure, but letting customers see a payment is important. There's another tool, of course, digital retailing, and I do have it crossed out here because I feel strongly that, well, again, while I would love if customers were just buying their cars online and just coming in to pick them up, we all know that's not reality. So, viewing your digital retailing tool as a shopping tool is another way that really allows customers to personalize payments, right?
It certainly does, yes. And this is showing DealerOn's digital retailing or shopping product called Apex that allows a shopper to go in and personalize their payment, configure different offers based on their qualifications. They can put in their trade-in information and kind of see how their payment adjusts based on all the different inputs that they're putting in there. We know that you have different choices for, digital retailing and shopping tools, and, Apex is just one of the ones that we can support on your website.
Yeah, and Tina, we've got a good question. So, when it comes to digital shopping, again, it is allowing the customer to personalize. I got to tell you, I went through this exercise myself, grabbing the screenshots. My car is worth more on trade than I thought. I wish I didn't know that information. But when I did that and I saw, okay, this is what it did to my payment, it is more than a payment calculator, but it is, don't view it just as digital retailing for the lead. That made me very much closer to actually looking at purchasing a vehicle. So Mark's got a good question. Do on DealerOn websites, we have a basic payment calculator that's available to anybody. Is that correct?
We do, yes.
Absolutely. But this, the digital shopping in our Apex example here, this allows the customer to truly personalize that experience. So make sure you're understanding the difference between tools and how it could be viewed and utilized. And integrating with trade, like I said, my example, finance information, that's
Accessories.
critical. Oh, accessories. Oh, yes, let me soup out my truck before I even get there. And I upsold myself. So fantastic options here. But I'd be remiss if I didn't give you a little best practice on lead gating. You got to give a payment. You got to show a little bit of information before, don't require that hard gate before anybody's going to get information. So here's an example here, a graceful gating. Absolutely, we're going to display a payment and some general information. And we just want to make sure that we can get this information to you. This is graceful. Another message you can have is, now let's personalize it as you go, and you can see the beginning and then the end. I'm not going to tell you how much my car's worth. Don't come for me, Seattle dealers. I'm not ready yet. My Pacifica's doing just fine. But here's the information where when you gate is important. So don't hold your payment hostage in your digital retailing tools. Make sure you're giving value in this tool before you ask for the lead. And I think that's a blanket recommendation throughout the entire thing. So, all right. See, I promised I was going to get everybody out a little early. So let's go through the tools and the resources that we displayed here today. First and foremost, Signals personalization. It's our platform designed to create tailored website experiences for each visitor. We've talked so much about it. Leveraging on-site, off-site data, it dynamically presents highly relevant content based on the shopper's behaviors. Unlike traditional tools, Signals, it doesn't require user logins. I am bashing it today. Sorry. Ensuring we're giving personalization for those visitors, not just those who create accounts. It's more than the inline ads. It's vehicle recommendations. This is fantastic. So if you don't have Signals active on your website, please, oh, please talk to your team. We talked a little bit about the tools, but we didn't call it out. So it's the lead driver feature family. It's built to do what that name promises, drive leads. These are tools underutilized. I said it before. I just want to make sure that you go through this. So we talked a little bit about coupons. We mentioned behavioral targeting, which is so super cool, that intent-based exit messaging. And then the geofencing Tina recommended. It lets you create those fences around different, colleges, militaries, your competition, and to target with that messaging. So if you're not taking advantage of this, you've got to send me a note. You can put it in the Q&A or webinars at dealeron.com. We talked Apex digital retailing. I saved this stat here, but for dealers using Apex, this is our data, 51% increase in VIN specific leads, which was fantastic when we pulled that data. I love to see that. Lots of integrations like we talked about. So this is a fantastic tool for you. If you want more information, let me know. And then last but not least is really one of those table stakes, that price stack payments feature family. Let customers see their payments straight on that SRP. It's always one of the foremost concerns of a family when they're looking to fit a vehicle into their budget. So lots of information here, lots of tools. I'm going to let you got 20 minutes, go sit in the sun for 20 minutes. Put on the sunscreen, give yourself a break. Tina, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you.
All right, and we will see everybody next time.